Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Wreaths and Things. Today is our Fall Wreathathon playlist hosted by DIY with Nadia. Don't forget to click the link down below for the playlist with all of these fabulously talented people. First though, today I am creating this fall flower wreath using a wreath board. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you how I put it all together. A little bit more about our fall wreathathon. Here is our host, DIY with Nadia, along with all these amazingly talented wreath makers here on YouTube. Don't forget to click the link down below for the playlist. I'm starting off with my wreath board, and I'm using gray polymesh, this beige polymesh, and this tricolor polymesh as well. I'm adding this centerpiece for my flower, and I'm attaching everything using cable ties, along with cutting utensils and a ruler. These are the materials that I'm going to be using today. Starting off with my wreath board. This is a small wreath board, and it is numbered so you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 rows of circles. And the outside row today we're not going to be using, but I'm going to be starting in row number 2, and then 3, and then 4. But first, I'm going to attach my cable ties into row number 2. And all you're going to do is you're going to feed it in one end, and then you're going to feed it through the other end, click it together, and that's going to create a little loop. Now, you don't want to close that loop off. You have to feed your mesh through there. So you want to keep that loop nice and open. And then I'm just going to move on to the next 2 close circles or openings. I'm going to feed that cable tie through until I hear it click a couple of times and create that loop. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do those close together holes first, and then I'm going to come in and fill in the rest of the holes. So there's ones in between, and we're going to fill those spacers as well with our cable ties. Now, you don't have to do the way that I did it. I like to do the ones closer together, and then I come around and I just fill in everything else. If you want to do it all at once, that's totally fine by you. Just as long as all of those holes are filled with our cable ties, flip it over just to make sure to check your work, and we have everything filled on our second row. Now I'm going to work on my third and fourth row, filling in all the cable ties, and I'm almost done filling everything in. And I will show you in just a second what it looks like on the other side after I fill it all in. So again, you don't want to close those cable ties, keep them nice and open. When you see on the other side, all of my holes are filled with cable ties. And now we're ready to cut our mesh so we can make that petal. For this, I'm using polymesh, and I am cutting these at 10 inches in length. So we have a 10-inch wide polymesh, and we're cutting in 10-inch lengths. Now for this particular wreath on the small board, I am using 24 pieces of this solid gray color. And I will also be cutting the multicolored one 16 pieces at 10-inch lengths and 8 pieces of this beige one at 10-inch lengths. So in total, there's 48 pieces at our 10-inch length. And to create our petal, we have one side that's manufactured edged and one is a cut end. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to turn it around to make it a diamond shape. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half, just like you fold a napkin in half to create a little triangle. And with that, I'm going to fold that triangle one more time just to find my center. So I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to push down a little bit just in that one little corner just to show me where my center is. Then I'm going to flip one corner towards the center, overlapping the center just a little bit. And then we'll take the other corner and turn it towards the center, overlapping that a bit. And you can see it makes like a little envelope shape. So you've got your tabs, then you just roll it in to the center point, take your other, roll it in as well. And you're going to create those little curls there with your point. And then at the very end, we're going to squish it all together. and that's going to create our first petal. And what we'll do is we will attach this to our wreath board in between one of our cable ties that we have open. So you're just going to feed it in, leave a little bit of space there, and then you're going to pull it nice and tight to close that off. And once you've got it nice and secured, I'm just going to take my wire cutters and cut the excess off. So there we have it. Our first petal is attached and we're ready to make more. Let's go through it a second time. All you're going to do is you're going to turn your square into a diamond, take that bottom point, match it up to the top point to create a little triangle. Then we're going to fold the triangle in half again to create another triangle, and that's going to find our center point. And all I do with our center point is I just push down a little bit and that creates a fold. And then when I unfold it, I know where my center mark is. I'm going to bring that one corner towards the center with a little bit of an overlap. I'm going to bring the bottom corner up to overlap it again. And then I'm just going to fold down or roll down the edges one more time to create those little curls. And then you just squish right down at the end. And that's going to create our second petal. And all I do is I just attach it to the wreath board using those cable ties that we've already placed. Place it in there with a little bit of an overlap. Then you're going to pull it nice and tight and then cut using your scissors. And I'm just going to repeat the same process over and over again, creating all those wonderful and beautiful petals all around that second row, just filling it up with this petals. I just love this method. Of course, this method comes from Lori from Unique in the Creek. And here we go. Our first row is all done with our gray. Now we're going to move on to that second row, which is all empty. And now we're just going to fill that in with the multicolored mesh. So again, I'm going to use the same procedures over and over again, folding, rolling, and creating those petals using Lori's method from Unique in the Creek to create this beautiful flower petal wreath for fall. And I know the gray is not a typical fall color, but I wanted something a little bit different. And mixed with the solid beige and then of course this checkered pattern, I just love how this came out and I hope you did as well. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I do like, a little bit of the outside of the box. So I wanted to try something new. And with that, I have finished my second row of petals, and now I'm going to work on my final row using the same method created by Lori and attaching those petals right on there. And of course, the beauty part of this is you can take the same method and same procedure and use any color of deco mesh that you want to create your petals. And there we go. We are all done. Now it is time to work on our little centerpiece. And this is just a flower centerpiece that I got offline, or online, I should say, where I'm attaching a pipe cleaner with a little bit of hot glue. And I'm just going to pour some more hot glue on there to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And then once that's all done, I'm just going to put it to the side and let it dry. And now that our glue is dry, I would love it if you're having a good time today and enjoy what I'm doing here. I would love it if you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. We are all done with letting the glue dry. Now it's time to attach it to the back of our wreath board. I'm just going to use two available holes that are adjacent to each other. I'm going to feed that pipe cleaner through, and then I'm just going to give it a couple of really good twists to make sure it's nice and secured in there. Cut off the excess, and what I like to do is just add a little dollop of hot glue to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And once we have it flipped over, we fluff it up a little bit, and we are all done with our fall flower wreath. What do you guys think of it? Let me know in the comments down below if you love it, or if you're not too fond of the colors. I love this color combination and I hope you do as well. And don't forget about that playlist down below so you can see all the other amazing fall Wreathathon creations. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a great time. I know I did. And maybe hit that subscription button and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much again. Take care. Bye for now.